my name is Angelica and this is the Angelica Unfiltered channel where I talk about health, wellness, weight loss, but mostly fat acceptance. Today I am doing another little Reddit video for the subreddit Fatlogic. So I think this is maybe the third or fourth video. I was filming this with OBS and reacting while reading it on my laptop, but my computer's about to explode. I just bought a new one today and hopefully it will be here tomorrow, so hopefully the next time we do a Reddit video we'll have a better setup. But for today I am using my fancy camera and reading off my iPhone. Before we get into this, if you like any of my jewels, I am wearing the centering smoky quartz necklace. This is a little prototype of some lepidolite earrings and some sterling silver little guys. I have a discount code exclusively for my YouTube peeps. You can use code DEAD to save 30% off anything from 𝒌𝒾𝓃𝓃𝑔, which is my small business. The DEAD code comes from the celebration of my 1-year anniversary of being canceled and deemed as dead for leaving the fat acceptance community. That code is valid until the end of July, so if you're interested, make sure to pick something up soon. But let's get into this. I have a notes app with some links of some fat acceptance stupid shit that I found. So let me open this first one up. This was posted 9 days ago. And it says, I think this person doesn't know what a real famine is. And I'm thinking maybe this is from Tumblr. A lot of the posts that I see on the subreddit Fatlogic are from Tumblr. You guys keep telling me that there's like a huge fat acceptance community on that platform. So it says, dieting is a form of trauma. Please. Do you know what actually is a form of trauma? I used to do this in the mental health and substance abuse field when I was doing client intake. It's called ACE, Childhood Trauma Test. And there is 3 different categories and talks about the different actual traumas that exist. Abuse, physical, emotional, or SUL, neglect, physical or emotional, household dysfunction, mental illness, mother treated violently, divorce, substance use, and incarcerated relative. That's what real trauma is, according to the ACE test. Dieting is not trauma. Maybe it was hard, maybe it sucked, but you're not being traumatized. Trauma, to me, in my opinion, literally like rewires your brain. Like, I have CPTSD because of my childhood. Like, there are things that I literally cannot undo. Like, if someone walks up by me really fast or if the door slams, it fucking catches me up off guard and I jump. That is a result of trauma and my brain literally changing because of my experience. Does that happen because you went on a fucking diet? Probably, no, probably not. A lot of things can be fucking hard and those things can stick with us, but dieting is not going to give you PTSD. Dieting is a form of trauma. Your body interprets your restriction as famine. You are not starving to death if you are on a diet, I promise you. It sucks sometimes, you know, your stomach growls, but if you are counting your calories and you already ate all the calories that you're supposed to have today, that sucks. You can choose to hear your stomach growl or eat over your calorie deficit. You're not starving to death. And it is just, hearing this stuff with what is going on in the world today is just so fucking tone deaf when there is multiple places in this world where people were actually starving and some places starving because of war. But yeah, let's talk about how dieting is the same thing as famine in a country where 77% of us are overweight, myself included. It doesn't know the difference between a self-imposed diet and a period of involuntary starvation. Being on a diet is not the same as people living on that one strip. I won't say the G word because don't want this video to be taken off YouTube. When you're on a diet, you're supposed to be in a calorie deficit of 100 to 500 calories. So that's 100 to 500 calories less than your body needs to maintain its weight. So I'm I think I'm at a 500 calorie deficit, and my allotted calories is like almost 1700. Believe me, I'm not starving. You can eat a lot with 1700 calories. Of course, it's maybe not a lot if you go to McDonald's or something, but that's why when you're losing weight, you need to be a little bit smarter about your decisions. Is it any wonder that some of us while dieting feel angry, irritable, or depressed? If you're depressed while dieting, you probably were seeking way too much pleasure in food. And yeah, it's natural for people to get hangry, especially if you're someone that's just starting a diet or being in a calorie deficit, because, you know, it's something that you're trying to get used to. But believe me, you're not going to be in a pissy mood for the rest of your life or like while you're in a calorie deficit. I've been in a calorie deficit almost every single day for a year and 2 months. I'm fine. If you are in such a negative state of mind when losing weight, you are either emotionally attached to food or have severe mental health issues. It's a natural response to a very powerful stressor. Yeah, losing weight can be stressful, but a lot of fucking things are stressful. It's hard to just point the finger at dieting when, look around us, there's a lot of horrible things going on. When you couple starvation, you're not starving, you're obese. You see this fat on my jiggly arm? And also on my belly and my legs, but my arm is just the most accessible right now. This fat is a reserve of calories. When you eat in a calorie deficit, since you're not munching on enough food to maintain your weight, your body does this thing where it goes in and it eats your fat that you have stored on your body. This is basically a pantry for your body to eat out of. You're not starving. You're literally fine. When you couple starvation with the oppressive and cruel messages that lead us to starving ourselves in the first place, I would say that most of the people that think that they're starving themselves aren't, or they only extremely restrict themselves for a very short period of time because they have the hinge at and not the Anna side. Because people in Anna aren't talking about how dieting is a form of trauma. They're not talking about how horrible it is to starve. When you couple starvation with the oppressive and cruel messages that lead us to starving ourselves in the first place, i.e. that our bodies are bad, ugly, or unworthy, those are all mostly internalized issues. Of course, people have asshole family members or coworkers or friends that like maybe point out the fact that you've lost weight, or they make fun of you, or, you know, like they talk about your fat roll or something, but most people aren't just going around saying, you're obese, so you're ugly and unworthy. Those are internalized thoughts, and your internalized world, while it does feel real, it's not real to everyone. You know, I suffer with anxiety. So when I come home, I'm starting to get social anxiety and thinking, oh my God, you know, I said that one thing and that probably made that person mad, and, you know, now they're never gonna want to talk to me again or ever be my friend. That's like my world. That's my thoughts is not the entire world, because me overthinking a situation might not even be in the thoughts of the person that I'm like thinking about, you know what I mean? Like whoever I had that social interaction with. Don't get me wrong, like we create our own reality, but that reality is not the same for everyone else. When you cruel starvation with the oppressive and cruel messages that lead us to starving ourselves in the first place, like that our bodies are bad, ugly, or unworthy, then it compounds it. I never want to diet again. I mean, you got the right to. You can do whatever the fuck you want with your body, I don't care. I never want to hurt my body ever again. Well, if you're obese or you're overweight, you're still hurting your body. You just have a lot of cognitive dissonance. I deserve love and kindness, and so do you too. Yeah, I think most people deserve love and kindness, but constantly indulging and gaining weight and being compliant and not pushing yourself is not self-love. Doing hard things, chasing after goals, bettering yourself, that's self-love. Hard things can be self-love. Self-love can also be easy and cozy, you know, having a rest day, which is important. As Kurt Cobain once said, too much pleasure is pain. If you are overdoing it, you are just causing yourself to be in pain rather than to enjoy something. And someone says, 500 calorie deficit is not starvation. In fact, equating a small deficit with starving is just spitting in the face of people who are genuinely starving. Absolute privilege bullshit. Yeah, that's basically just what I said. Duh, haven't you seen those kids in Africa with swollen bellies? It's obviously a result of starvation mode, not a super severe vitamin, electrolyte, protein deficiency. Oh, and some people do starve themselves from EDs. My heart goes to them, but they somehow are not fat. They're the opposite. I would argue they wouldn't be hungry at all at a 500 calorie deficit, but they would be deprived of dopamine rush that they get from eating. Yeah, because, you know, when you are so fat, you are able to eat so much to like maintain that weight or be in a calorie deficit. Like, I think to maintain my weight right now, like a maintenance calorie for me is 2100, I believe. So for me to lose weight, I'm at like 1700, and I'm like 200 pounds. So if you are 300, 400 pounds, you get to fucking eat a lot more calories. And the amount of calories that these people have to eat to lose weight is not as much as they think that they need. Like, you know, someone that is 300, 400 pounds, they could just have like literally one less snack, switch their regular sugar pop to a diet pop, and switch their condiments to something lower calorie, and they would lose weight. Just making those small changes when you are so overweight has a huge impact. That is what this is all about. They are all junk foodies who depend on getting their fix to enjoy life and cope with the difficulties of being morbidly obese. The very concept of the phrase fat logic misses the point entirely. It's not about logic, it's about convincing themselves their food addiction isn't a problem, so they keep eating. I will readily acknowledge that dieting is difficult, but it is simple. Eating less than you burn is the core concept, but having to do it requires a lot of discipline. Yes, which people do not have. I think your options are restructure your life to where you don't need food to enjoy it, or white knuckle the cravings. Yeah, agreed. So here we have a little post from 8 days ago. They're not wrong, but that doesn't mean food doesn't affect weight. If we all ate 4,000 calories a day, didn't exercise, we'd all be fat, just to varying degrees. So it's a little infographic, probably from Canva or something. Even if we all ate and exercised exactly the same, our bodies would look different. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Because guess what? We're all not the same height. And a lot of people in the fat acceptance community say that weight is genetic. Obviously it's not, but there is some sort of genetic component to the way that we're built, which even it can vary from sibling to sibling. Like, I am an older sister. I'm 5'5.5", 200 pounds. You know, I am like definitely more bottom heavy and have some bigger hips and a smaller waist, but like my sisters, who I literally share both parents with, they're twins. They are twins with themselves, them too. They are twins. I'm not their twin. For some reason, whenever I say that, people are like, oh, I didn't know you had a twin. I don't have a twin. My two sisters are twins, who I literally share parents with, the same mother and the same father. They are close to 6 feet tall. I mean, I know I'm white. I just don't go out in the sun because I have thousands of dollars worth of tattoos. But they are pasty white. They get sunburn in the fucking winter, and they're top heavy. And I'm not saying that as a diss, that's just literally a fact. Like, they're top heavy, they have like broader, bigger shoulders. And what is that shape? I think they are like the upside down triangle more shaped. Even if we share the same parents, we have the same genetic makeup, we still look different. Whether that's, you know, skin tone, but obviously we're talking about weight and body shape. And not to mention, besides like our different shapes, they're also 6 fucking inches taller than I am. So I think me and one of my sisters, we're around the same weight right now, but because she's literally 6 inches taller than I am, what we look like and how our bodies are composed look different. I feel like there's been pictures of that like online, that it's like what 200 pounds looks like on different heights, and it's like if you are taller, you are allowed, or like you can get away with way more, obviously. So yeah, it makes sense if we did all eat the same amount of food and did the same exercises, we would all look different, because besides what we consume, what we look like, or like our features of our body are different. And I know this is like pictures of women too, but it's like even gender, like men get to eat more. So if, you know, me and my husband ate the same amount of food and Not only is he taller than I am, he's also a man, and he has more muscle and testosterone. His weight is going to differ from mine even if we ate the same and did the same exercises. So this looks like an Instagram caption, but this person cropped it, so I don't know who posted this, but the Reddit caption says, when food noise causes such an obsession with food that they become severely obese, that is the real pathos, not normal hunger for fuck's sake. And also haze does not exist. The hashtags are wild too. So the thing that they screenshotted says, suddenly the term food noise is popping up all over Instagram, especially in discussions about obesity, which they censored out like it's a fucking cuss word or a slur, and Ozempic, and in dietitians' posts. Because people didn't know what food noise was until I think this kind of very current era. I've had food noise probably my entire life, but I didn't know what it was until like you have that word for it. You know what I mean? Like people can experience something but not know that there is a term for something. Like when I was having PTSD symptoms before I was diagnosed as a teenager, like I thought I was just fucking losing my mind. But then when I got my diagnosis and was able to see all the symptoms and get treatment, I was like, oh, so I have a fucking disorder. I'm not losing my mind. Okay, that makes sense. When the term food noise became more normalized or people started using it more, people were able to connect their experience to a word. Gravity existed before it was discovered. What's going on here? Is this referring to cravings? Question mark? Is it referring to normal human hunger that's being pathologized to seem like a symptom of illness or of fatness? No, cravings and food noise is so fucking different. Like, I could just sit here while working and be like, damn, you know what sounds good right now? Freaking double cheeseburger from McDonald's. And like, that's it. But when you have food noise, it's like obsessive, constantly thinking about it. It's the only thing that you fucking think about all day. You know, like waking up and being like, oh, I'm gonna have this, this, and this for breakfast. And then as soon as while you're like literally making that meal, then you're thinking about fucking lunch. And then while you're eating lunch, then you're thinking about dinner. And then like all the snacks that you get to have in between. And then when you go to bed, you're excited to wake up the next day because you get to eat again. Like food noise and just having a simple craving is so different. Like food noise is like want, 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 want in your fucking brain all day. That's different than a craving. I feel like a craving is like poof. That sounds really good right now, and it maybe like lingers in the background, or maybe like think about your craving when you're like planning dinner or like about to go grocery shopping, but it doesn't consume your whole mind. Is it referring to normal human hunger that's being pathologized to seem like a symptom of illness or of fatness? Are we talking about non-hunger desire to eat, which is so normal, since humans eat for lots of reasons? I mean, yeah, I guess it is true that humans eat for lots of reasons, but it doesn't mean like it's a good thing. And I mean, I have a non-hunger desire to eat too. Like, I don't know what it is about getting my ass kicked in a video game, but like, you know, after me and my fucking squad take 23rd place and we're back in the lobby, I just need a fucking handful of potato chips for some reason. Like, that's probably just emotional eating, but it's like, yeah, we eat for non-hunger satiating reasons, but that shouldn't justify it. That's not a good reason. It's not pathologizing fatness. That's a coping mechanism that is not the healthiest. Why are we suddenly seeing lots of effort to calm the food noise popping up at the same time as these intense big money initiatives from companies like Weight Watchers and Novo Nordisk? It's almost like they're doing marketing for their business and their products, because some people say that being on GLP-1s kind of calms down that food noise, and sometimes in some cases literally turns it off, which I'm happy for you and totally not jealous. And guess what? If there is medications or products that will calm the food noise, if people are severely overweight and struggling with that, I don't think there's any harm in taking advantage of said products or medications to make their life easier. Enlighten me, please, if you can do it without using an O slur, as in obesity. Hashtag haze, hashtag health at every size, hashtag weight neutral, hashtag anti-diet, hashtag lose hate, not weight, hashtag body liberation, hashtag shut up, hashtag you're probably fucking fat. Hashtag you're big mad and you want to get on some sort of GLP-1 to lose weight and stop your food noise, but you feel like you can't because people in your little community will be pissed off. People do eat for plenty of reasons: hunger, celebration, culture, comfort, and so on. Having the occasional glass of wine at dinner or cake at a wedding is very normal. Giving in to every single craving to the point of immobilizing oneself in disease. Censoring the word obese doesn't erase the damage that they're doing to their bodies. Okay, period. Food noise contributed to my binge ed. Some of the fat acceptants conveniently like to omit from their list of eds. It's infuriating. They never talk about binge ed. It's apparently the most prevalent ed, but a lot of people don't seek help because they either don't know it's a problem or they're embarrassed. That really needs to change. Fat advocates aren't helping by saying shit like honor your cravings. If it's a true craving, like a pregnant woman wanting a certain food, or the time smoked salmon was the most delicious food on earth, then fair enough. But fat acceptance thinks that looking at a cake and thinking that looks good is a craving that they must give into. Yeah, I think there is a difference between a craving and just being completely out of fucking control and giving into your every single wants and desires. Because I can crave something and not eat it right away. Like last week, my friends and I went to this little restaurant in town and I got this it was a warm sandwich, which I usually don't eat warm sandwiches, but it was on a hoagie bun and it was ham, hard salami, mozzarella cheese, garlic aioli, bussin'. And I've been craving that since, but I haven't went and got it. You know, I'm thinking about it. You know, maybe when me and my husband go on a date this weekend, we can go to that same restaurant so I can have it again, but it's not overtaking my life. All right, this one is from 4 days ago. Caption reads, I think the thing that rubs people the wrong way is that fat acceptants choose for an unhealthy lifestyle and preach medical misinformation and glorify their unhealthiness to others who are vulnerable enough to believe it. At least that is one thing that bothers me in a way. So let's read this. It looks like this is also from Tumblr, which we might have to infiltrate Tumblr. This post reads, it's really telling that being fat is always seen as a personal failing, despite many, many different factors contributing to how weight is gained and lost. I mean, in simple layman's terms, I do feel like it is someone's personal responsibility, or it is someone's fault that they are fat, but I think there are layers to it. Like, I do understand that there are systems in place that encourage people to become fat or make it easier for people to become obese. I think it's kind of like a mixture of both, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, no one is forcing you to put food in your mouth, chew and swallow. The human body is an incredibly complex machine and is poorly understood. No, it's not. Have you been to the doctor? Do you know anything about the medical industry? The human body has been studied for probably millenniums now. And we now live in the best day and age for medical treatment and research. Yeah, the body is complex, but fat people aren't aliens. They aren't from a different planet. They aren't a different species from a normal weight person. Of course, there's certain disorders and diseases that make it harder to lose weight, but you're not an unsolvable math problem, I promise. If anything, you're like a majority of the people in this country. 77% of Americans are overweight, 44% of them being obese. Sorry, sis, you're not special. You're just like the rest of us. Fat, because we ate too much. And everything from genetics to circumstances can affect your weight. True, but there are some things about your circumstances that you can't change. And yet somehow every fat person is only fat because of some sort of moral failing on their part. For some reason, the more I hear moral failing and like I continue to look up the definition, I feel like I don't understand what the word moral failing is, or like this is probably just me being illiterate and uneducated. Like in my experience, or I guess just in like my train of thought, like a moral failing would be doing something that goes against my values, or like having morals is like a set of values. So for me to do something that's a moral failing would be going against my beliefs. A moral failing to me would be like unaliving someone, or a moral failing would be cheating on my husband, A moral failing would be stealing a bunch of money from someone, setting a house on fire, like something that goes against my own values that I think is bad and wrong. According to the AI Google, moral failure refers to a situation where an individual's actions or decisions deviate from their own ethical standards or societal expectations, often involving a breach of trust, integrity, and responsibility. So, fat being a moral failure would mean that being fat is against someone's individual's actions or decisions that deviate from their own ethical standards. If you are fat and you think it's okay to be fat, then you shouldn't think that being fat is a moral failure. But from a societal perspective, society might see them as a moral failure because of societal expectations, because of breach of trust, integrity, or responsibility, which I guess technically, yeah, being fat is someone else's own responsibility, but I wouldn't say it's against breach of trust or integrity. And the moral failing is that they're being unhealthy. I mean, technically, because you don't get fat because someone fucking rubbed a genie's bottle and asked for 3 wishes. You're fat because of your lifestyle choices. But barely anyone is completely healthy and has healthy habits. No one is perfect. As Hannah Montana says, nobody's perfect, I gotta work it again and again till I get it right. If you fail, then get up and try again, bitch. I don't know what to tell you. But most of the time, people that are a healthy weight, they have to have some sort of healthy habits to become that way. They don't just get to go on the fucking Sims 4, create a sim, and figure out what they want to look like and put in all their different attributes. They're at a healthy weight for a reason, the same way that I am fat for a reason. I mean, like, aside from the fact that you can be fat and perfectly healthy, what's your definition of healthy? Which is definitely another part of this discussion. If you are fat, you'll more than likely have obesity, and obesity is a disease. And if you have obesity, it is a major risk factor to other disorders and diseases. Don't get me wrong, I'm still obese. Don't be all fucking triggered. I know most of you guys are still obese too. You guys tell me in the comments that you're on a weight loss journey. I mean, I feel better since I've lost over 70 pounds, but I'm sure as I continue to lose more weight, I will continue to feel even better and healthier. But if it were really about that though, then why aren't we just as critical when a skinny person is only skinny because of unhealthy habits? Can we have an example, please? The United States has an obesity epidemic, not a skinny epidemic. And most skinny people aren't going on social media and highlighting, broadcasting, glorifying, promoting all of their unhealthy behaviors. I know fat people or like obese people still feel shame in their actions, but like I feel like people that are overly restricting or people that are under a certain weight that are obviously like unhealthy, they're hiding their behaviors more than obese people, because not only are obese people a majority of the population, they literally have a movement called the Fat Acceptance Movement where they talk about all of their unhealthy habits online all day, every day. So people are talking more about the fat people and their unhealthy habits because we are seeing it more. First of all, it's literally, skinny talk is literally banned from TikTok. So we can't go see what, you know, these skinny minis, these thin mints are doing, but fat acceptance, fat talk is still allowed. So we literally can't even criticize unhealthy skinny people habits because it's banned. You guys, or I guess not you guys, the people on the internet got fucking skinny talk banned. We don't know what the skinny minis are doing. We can't get any fucking life hacks from them. And I just hate the argument that it's like, well, skinny people can be unhealthy too. And the sun is still out even though there's clouds. It's just that skinny people are eating their maintenance calories or less than they need and they're losing weight. You're just fucking eating too much. Do you judge and stare at people who are skinny and don't get the recommended amount of exercise? I mean, you can't tell, usually, I mean, I guess you can tell how much people exercise to a certain point. Like, if someone is smaller or a healthy weight and they work out a lot. Like, you can usually see it in their legs, or if they lift, you can see their amazing shoulders and muscular arms. You know, someone that has very prevalent muscles and other bodily features, obviously people can see that, but when I go out into society, when I go to the grocery store or the post office, I don't think, I bet this guy doesn't exercise at all. I just literally go on with my day. I'm not contemplating whether someone is exercising or not, unless they are talking about it on the internet and I think they're lying. Do you dismiss concerns from someone because they don't brush their teeth twice a day? I assume that they're saying not brushing your teeth is unhealthy, which obviously I know because oral hygiene is important. If someone that has fucking stinky breath is telling me about their joints, I'm gonna think, wow, this person has fucking stank ass stinky breath, and well, but that also sucks that their joints hurt. Two things can be true at once. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I thought not. Hashtag Fatphobia. Hashtag, I've been thinking about this a lot. That was another hashtag in one of my other Reddit videos. I wonder if this is the same person. Hashtag, because the more you think about it, hashtag, I treat fat people poorly because they have unhealthy habits, is such a bullshit excuse and falls apart. I think just everything people in the fat acceptance community say is made up in their head and didn't happen in real life. One, because I know people in the fat acceptance community don't leave the fucking house, because I used to be in the fat acceptance community, but I also still don't leave the house. But just the things that they say just don't feel realistic at all. And guess what? Someone might treat you like shit, but it might not be because you're fat. It might be because you're annoying, or you're in the way, or because you smell, or because you're loud. Like 77% of the population is overweight. So, I mean, I know people can treat fat people like shit and be mean and degrading, but sometimes, a lot of the time, it's like internalized. Like, people just spiral and make something up in their head, or they interpret something the wrong way. Like, you know, say I'm at the grocery store, I'm pushing my little buggy, and someone gives me a dirty look. Maybe they give me a dirty look because I'm taking up the whole aisle. Maybe they gave me a dirty look because I'm covered in tattoos and they have a prejudice towards people with tattoos, or they think tattoos are white trash. Or maybe because I've worn this shirt maybe 3 or 4 times and it stinks a little. Or maybe because I'm talking to my bestie on the phone and I'm fucking screaming, talking about something very inappropriate, and they have a child with them. Like, there are just so many reasons that people can be an asshole, and it's really hard to pinpoint it on your weight unless it's like specifically about your weight. Like, if someone was like, oink oink, piggly wiggly, bitch, you're fat and ugly and stupid, obviously that it has something to do with your weight. But if someone just like gives you a look, or doesn't hold the door open for you, or if someone does something like passive aggressive, there is just like probably literally 1 million reasons why that person did those things. And also, it doesn't have to do with you. Maybe someone gave you a fucking pissy attitude because they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or their mom just died, or their kid has cancer, or their husband just lost their job. Like, there is like literally so many fucking reasons someone could be mean to you. But people in the fat acceptance community just think the whole world revolves around them, so they can't even comprehend that a situation has nothing to do with them. Alright, that's about enough Reddit that I can do for today. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like this video. And if you enjoyed me, consider subscribing. I would love to see you again. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Peace.